Hi guys, welcome to the round 14 of the match between Kasparov versus Anand in 1995. This is game 14. Gary Kasparov is playing the white pieces against Vishwanathan Anand, who is defending with the black pieces. Okay, let's check out this game right away. The game started with pawn to e4, d5, pawn takes on d5. We have the Scandinavian defense in just move 2. Queen takes the pawn on d5. We have knight to c3. Gary Kasparov attacks the queen. What did Vishwanan do? He employed queen to a5, d4, knight to f6, knight to f3, c6, knight to a5. In most of my games, players who play the Scandinavian defense prepare to castle the long side. Did it happen in this game? Let's find out. After bishop to e6, we saw the bishop developed as vacating this c8 square. Probably the knight is coming soon, the king will be castled. Well, with bishop to d3, knight on b to d7. After f4, g6 follows. Here, white castles the short side, which is Gary Kasparov. Vishwanan played bishop to g7. King to h1, bishop to f5, countering this strong bishop. After bishop to c4, declining this exchange, we tried to take the pawn on f7 with check. e6 followed, blocking the bishop from reaching the pawn on f7. Bishop to e2, h5. Bishop to e3, rook to d8. Placing the rook on the same file where we have the white queen is a good strategic arrangement. Positionally, it is possible for white to lose guard in the future. The rook can still pick the queen, and at the same time it is threatening knight takes knight, so this pawn cannot take. He has to take with this. That is one of the idea. Then knight comes again, bishop pressures the pawn, knight pressures the pawn, with the idea of the pinned pawn to the queen. Bishop to g1, black castles. Bishop to f3, putting the bishop on an active diagonal. We have knight to d5, blocking it. You see, the pieces are placed in such that when it's time to strike, these two strong super GM will just know because the pieces are already in place. Their positional arrangement of pieces are just too marvelous. In this case, knight takes on d5, pawn takes on d5, bishop to f6. Queen to c7 follows. Here, we have rook to c1. The same concept, placing the rook on the same file where we have the black queen. f6, attacking the knight. Gary Kasparov played knight to d3. Rook on f to e8, taking full control of this open e file by the black rook. b3. Knight to b6, a4. Now, a4 is coming to harass the knight after pawn push to a5 by Gary Kasparov. Here, Vishwanathan Anand played knight to c8. c4 follows, queen to f7. After a5, bishop to f8. Why is bishop to f8? To avoid any knight activity on this b4 square. So, pawn takes on d5, pawn takes on d5, bishop to h4. Bishop to h4 is understandable. It is at the moment reducing the pressure on g5, preventing Vishwanathan Anand from pushing the pawn to g5. Because if pawn comes, pawn takes, bishop take. The bishop is supporting the pawn at that moment. And in addition, you need to observe the pawn is now pinned to the rook. So if anything happens on the diagonal that this pawn moves away, bishop takes rook. What to do? Knight moves to d7. a6 comes up, trying to disconnect these two pawns. b6 by Vishwanathan Anand. Knight to e5, attacking the queen, offering the knight to be captured by the pawn to open the attacking diagonal for the bishop to attack the rook on d8. Queen to e6 instead. Let's show a line that supports pawn takes. What will happen? Pawn takes the pawn first. The knight is under attack by the pawn on e5. Bishop attacks the rook. So If knight goes to e4, giving up the rook, bishop takes, rook takes. That is one variation. So another variation can also include where the rook is saved, pawn takes this knight, rook takes. We can have this kind of variation. However, in the game, queen to e6, avoid any of the two variations. This is Vishwanathan Anand concept from that position. So the game continued after Garry Kasparov played pawn to g4, very aggressive. In this position, he decided to go attack the arrangement on the king side. If pawn takes bishop and pawn takes bishop, normal logic. So pawn takes first on g4, knight takes on g4, bishop to g7. Immediately, Vishwanathan Anand played bishop to g7. Garry Kasparov thought for a while and launched rook to c7. You see this rook on c7, I always talk about it on this channel and I'll keep talking about it. The rook on the 7th rank is very powerful. Forget that it's not taking anything at the moment, but for it to stand on that 7th rank is doing a lot of job cutting out this king and is in place to support a kind of queen come to the back rank and make checkmate by moving to squares like this. And you know what I'm trying to say. These are ideas. I'm not going to quote much because it is obviously seen on your screen. The rook here covers good squares. So if this bishop is not in this location, probably here, you will see that the rook cuts out the king from activity. That's fine. Well, there's a concept why Garry Kasparov played this, and I'll show it to you. In this position, if Vishwanathan Anand had played rook to defend this pawn, then Garry Kasparov will have unleashed a variation where rook takes the bishop, king takes, then bishop takes the pawn check, king move, then bishop stays here. In this position, the end result of all this sacrifice with the rook and placing the bishop in the center, blocking the queen activity, comes with an attacking force in the center, which ends after knight to e4, knight goes to h6 check, king to e7, knight takes f5 with check, pawn takes, bishop takes the knight on e4, pawn takes, then we have d5. This is the end from that variation where rook sacrifice was made, allowing white to continue the game with strong center. Just imagine, strong centers and active rook compared to black rook. The rook is coming via this place. We have also where the queen can penetrate through. Even the queen has more activity than black queen. I'm just stating few of the advantage of that variation. However, in the game, let's go back to this position. In the game, Vishwanathan Anand failed to spot a specific continuation that counters the presence of the rook on c7. Although this pawn is under attack, actually. But this move secures draw position from this position. Let me put it that way. It secures draw if played well, because you are countering the most active piece from white camp. You are countering it. So activities like rook take bishop will not easily be a harm to you or to the black side. So even taking this pawn will just hinder more activity of that rook in the game. The rook has no flight square. The rook cannot come back. The rook will take it. Cannot stay here because of the knight. So we are going to hide and hinder that rook from activity in the game. Every of these squares are fully under attack and they are loaded with strong pieces which can take the rook. So Vishwanathan Anand in 1995 did not spot this move. Instead, he played something different. In the game, he went on with this concept, knight moving to e4, which enabled Garry Kasparov to create some series of moves that gives him edge from this position. Garry Kasparov went on with knight move. Here, bishop comes up to attack the rook. Rook goes to g1, then g5 comes up. In this position, bishop goes to g4 to attack the queen. Just an intermediate move, a move that you can put in between your moves. So pawn cannot take the bishop at the moment because the queen is under attack. Queen is more valuable than just taking this bishop for now. So Here, bishop takes, queen takes the bishop on g4, still threatening to take the queen first with check. In this position, this cannot happen because this comes with check, rook takes. This will fall either by rook taking, the bishop will check, or this rook taking. I still prefer this variation where this rook will take with check. Well, you can threaten a lot of ideas in the background. After the king move, let's say the king moves, this is a check, right? Yeah, the king moves, I don't know what's going on. But let's go back. King would move, yes. Then knight comes to solidify defense on this square, and there can be a checkmate from there. I think it's network that's holding this. So let's go back. Let's go back here. So after queen takes on g4, queen takes on g4, then the game continues after rook takes. Rook now pins the pawn to the bishop. So if pawn takes, then rook can take. This concept is still holding. So Vishwanathan Anand did not want this rook to come into the back rank. What he did was knight goes to d6. Bishop goes back to f2, defending that attacked knight. Knight to b5, attacking the rook. Here, rook to b7, still keeping the rook on that particular rank. Rook to e4 comes up, trying to pick this particular pawn. Here, f5 comes up first, defending with the rook and also opening an attack to this particular rook. Rook takes on g4, knight takes on g4. Here, the bishop defends the pawn. Knight cannot take. Knight is coming and many other activities. Rook to c8, follow, trying to bring in the rook into the back rank. Here, rook to d7. After rook to d7, rook to c2. Immediately, rook takes the pawn on d5. This game ended in favor of Garry Kasparov, who played the white spaces, having a victory in this particular round. So, he has won the round 14. In addition to his victory so far, he was 2 points up. Now, he's now 3 points up, higher than Vishwanathan Anand. So, let's check out some continuation in this particular position. You see, this knight is under attack from the rook. What to do? We cannot leave the knight there. There are moves the knight can make or black can make for the knight, such as moving the knight over to c7, attacking the rook and also attacking this pawn, which is valid, and also taking the knight here. So if we go with this, you're going to see this kind of attack. Rook goes up, pressures the knight and pressures the bishop. Well, let's come back. It's possible to throw in a check first, Seth. It's possible. So if this happens, keeping the king into hiding, then this follows. Pins the bishop to the king, threatening to pick up the knight. Well, what to do? There is this move also coming up. So if knight takes, you can just take this with check first, then pend when to pick this later in the game. So let's check out another move, such as this one, knight coming over to here, come to a3. Well, check, king move, we put the rook here. So if he goes back, we can take this with check. If king moves, you can play in a check from here. King goes up, or let's bring it down, attack the knight. Then you push this. f5, yeah, which is valid. Bishop goes back, defend your knight. This is nice game, right? Wow. So thank you for watching this video. This is just the end of game 14. We are still going to game 20. Let's see what happens in the other games, and from there we can have a judge who won this match in 1995. Thank you for watching.